The first demo, as said, is supposed to show kind of a regular interview shoot, but you can also apply it for a feature film thing where you shoot a scene with more than one camera. Let's first have a little look on the display here to have to show the interface of the Lockit Plus. This is what I told you before. This is the Lockit Plus. It has a second antenna because it spans a local Wi-Fi in this case, where I can hook on with my computer or my smartphone or whatever. It's basically a web server where I can see things happen, and I have here my ACN radar, that's how I called it, and we see all our other 7 Lockit units that you can see blink here, and on the camera you have it all visible. And the setup now would be that this Lockit Plus is set to be the master. You can say it here. You can also stop the master and start the master. So you would do it like in the interface here. If you can briefly switch to the top-down camera, there is also the possibility to start this CGEM mode on the Lockit. It has no web interface, but actually you just keep the green button pressed and then turn the power button on, and then this device would start up in master mode. So both the Lockit Plus and the Lockit can be this ACN master, if you want to say so, that constantly syncs up all the devices. Now, if you're setting up your production, and you go to your camera rental, ideally, of course, Kinos, and then you're prepping your gear. And when it comes to timecode, then you also have to check a little bit about the menu. Of course, you have to kind of find out where to put the Lockit. I mean, this is obviously not a good place here. Okay, I just did it because it can be visually seen here. But you're rigging your camera and stuff. But also, this is the point where you already say, okay, which cable may I need, and which settings in the menu do I have to press to make things run. The problem, however, is that camera manufacturers, they do not care at all about timecode. Okay, we have to say this clear. There is a little bit of a lack of standardization on something. So you will find every camera menu names the things different, it treats the things different. If we go back to to the screen, maybe I can show you. This is a simulator of the Alexa menu. If you're in the this is the home view. So if you would have to adjust your timecode settings, you go here, and then you hit the options, and then say, okay, obviously rec run is never a good idea for timecode, because rec run is a mode where the timecode only continues when you hit the record button, which does not make sense in our timecode world, because we have a real-time clock running and it's running all the time. So the camera must be set to free run. How do I do this? I have to hit this button actually. Not available in simulator. Okay. However, what do? Okay. However, you have to put it on free run. So, and then this the other mode here. You have to put this on regen actually, which means regenerate. So. If it's set to preset, then you would kind of access the Alexa the menu and kind of enter a time code, and it runs from that on an internal. But here you have to say regen, and it does what it does. If this would be free run, of course, and you have to imagine that. But now let's go back to the top-down camera and see what we have to do with the Canon C300. I mean. At least, and this is a professional camera, you see it has a dedicated timecode input, and as a BNC in this case, where you it has this, don't know if you can see this properly, but it has a thing called Timecode up here, and you plug it here to your to the BNC port with a cable. On the other end goes into the locket, of course, and then you kind of attach it to the camera in some way. Now, if you check the camera menu, maybe we can switch to the camera feed for the audience to make that a little bit better visible. Exactly. Oh, thank you. This is so convenient. I'm not a camera person. So it's a great example because now if you're going into the menu of the C300, things are a little bit different than in the ARRI Mini LF's menu, because if you're going to the timecode menu, again, of course, okay, no rec run but free run, that makes sense. But now let's check the timecode mode. And now if you're hitting regenerate as if you've done it in for the Alexa, you will see something doesn't really work. Okay, it doesn't work. So for some reason, and I can't tell you what is the reason, but for some reason, the Canon does it exactly the other way around, okay? So you have to put the camera menu to preset to make this timecode workflow running. So that's what I said, the camera manufacturers don't really care about this topic. You have to find out. You have to learn it, unfortunately, for every camera, and actually try out if it works. That's why it makes perfect sense to have at least one locket with a display on set, because then it's easier for you to kind of just hold it to the screen and see, oh, is it running? Is it running over there? But how you can, for example, see if it's working here is the little E on the top right, where it says externally feeded, because if I now plug off the nano locket, it turns to F. Actually, I don't know what F means, but it's obviously different. And then if you plug it in back, it turns to external feed, and then so this is some kind of a so that you know, okay, this camera now gets the timecode externally from our nano locket. However, it's really helpful, as said, to have one locket device with a display on the set to really kind of visually match the timecode running on the camera display and the timecode running on the display. So now we're good to go with our Canon C300. Let's go back to the top-down camera, because now we have to make ready our second camera. You can already put this up to our tripod for later. Thank you. So now we have here our Sony Alpha 7S, which is basically a device more suitable for photography, but it can do good pictures, good moving pictures as well. And it's small, it's nice, it fits to gimbal situations and stuff like that. So that's often used on set. So how to feed in timecode? We already heard that at cameras that don't have a dedicated specific timecode connector, you will use the audio track to feed in the timecode. So that's what we did here. I literally just went to the mic in port and put our 3.5 millimeter jack cable here. If you listen closely, you already hear the sound of timecode coming. Yeah, the first rows might hear it. Now, I put the record. Oh, I'm so sorry. How to stop this thing here? It worked. Okay, so now the problem here is now obviously timecode is running. You for this cameras, you recognize that it's running because you hear it. Okay, you hear this noise, but from this noise you can't really tell if it's right or wrong. Okay, so in this case you just have to trust. Okay, you have to trust that this device runs on the same speed as this device, so you're so you're good to go. Of course, also this camera has to be set to has to be set to 25 frames. This camera I set to 25 frames as well, and also I did so with the Lockit. In the Lockit Plus, you can do it via this graphical menu, but you can also do it at those Lockits manually. To enter the menu, you just double press red and green simultaneously, and you enter the menu, and then you can kind of adjust all the settings you need. Okay, so an important thing because timecode in this setup is recorded to the audio track, and it has a volume. Okay, and if you record timecode too loud or with not enough loudness, the tools in the back may have problems to read it. So you have to kind of make sure that the level of timecode is kind of in the middle. Don't pull it out full speed. There is the possibility to lower or raise the volume output of the timecode at these boxes. If you hold and press, if you hold the red button and press green, then it gets louder. And if you hold the green button and press red, it gets lower. All right, so this camera is set up as well. Thank you. Let's go back to the top-down camera because we have a third device to sync. Our sound recorder. We are recording the audio externally on a sound recorder. In this case, a sound device is Scorpio, which is maybe a little bit too big for this little setup we are shooting, but it's a nice recorder. Let's see. Also, this thing has to be set to 25 frames, of course. It has a timecode input. You can, in this case, it's a Limo input. You can see it here. And we have a Lockit attached to the input. This is actually a quite common setup. So in many cases, the sound recordist on set is responsible for the timecode. I don't know if it's the same here in Finland, but in many countries I know it's the sound recordist taking care of the timecode. So they often have the Lockit with a display at their place to kind of control and manage everything. And on the cameras, then you just have the nano Lockit to feed in the timecode, which is fairly enough in short situations that we're having right now. So again, here I enter the menu. I go down to a menu that is called Timecode and Sync, and there is an option, of course, again, free run, yeah, no rec run, but free run, and there is an option that is called Jam, and then you hit Jam button, and then it tells you received timecode, and then you can hit again the Jam button, and then it takes over the timecode input from this device. Again, completely different workflow again. So there is no real rule of thumb in this case, unfortunately. You have to try it out, actually, with every camera device, because in the menu it's always a little bit different. But it's a good best practice thing to have one Lockit with a display on set to really just check if what you did went correctly. This will save you some nerves. So that's it. Okay, so we're set up, I guess. Let's do a little shooting. Nico, come on stage. Nico, you're going to be the one I'm going to interview now. Okay? Take a seat. It's cool. Yeah, we have two cameras. One of the cameras is shooting a close-up, probably. You're the close-up guy.
You like this?
Yeah. It's cool. Yeah, can it come a little bit away from it, a little bit more wider shot, maybe? I like the shadow. Perfect. Okay, so we have two cameras. We have one guy. We have audio externally synced, externally recorded, but every device is now running on the same timecode. Okay, and we will now shoot some clips, and let's see what happens. I come to this to my director's chair. Thank you for preparing this. Okay. Sound. Oh, I'm the sound guy as well. Sorry. Okay. Sound rolling. Cameras. All right, Nico.
Clap.
Glad to have you here. Tell me, how do you feel like being today here in Helsinki with us?
Oh, it's a bit cold here and dark, and I really don't know if I like it. Yeah.
Okay,
sorry.
Cut. Nico, maybe we can do this a little bit more positive.
More positive? Okay.
More friendly.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I try.
They record this.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, sound rolling. Sound rolling. Camera. Oh, yeah. Nico, would you do this for us so that we can synchronize the clips later? Can you do a clap? Thank you, man. Okay, again, Nico, how do you feel like being here today in Helsinki with us?
I feel very well. It's beautiful weather outside, and yeah, I like it very much. Yeah, and the beautiful people here. It's beautiful. I like it, really. Thank you.
And cut. Thank you, Nico. This was awesome. This was awesome. We're done here. Cut. Okay, now we'll ingest the stuff into the computer and see what happens in post-production. As you know, this can take a while, but you can ask. You can take the chance to ask some questions if you want to. Otherwise, we'll just check and ingest the material. What do you have? Which camera is that?
This is
the DSLR. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. So we grab that. Okay, we have 2 clips from the DSLR. So far, so good. Sorry for being this unprofessional. I have no POM4 or stuff like that on my laptop now, but I do no checksums and stuff. Just copying. It's also actually not a good idea to just copy and paste the clips out of the folders. It's always better to copy all the folders, of course. But for this workshop, it's perfectly fine. Hier brauchen wir noch. We need the stuff from there as well. Okay, 2 clips from here. And another, the audio files. You can remove that, actually. Okay, here's for these 2. Sound rolling, camera. Okay. Okay. So now 3 devices, 2 clips each. Now let's check DaVinci. We are going to the folder that I just put in my stuff. First thing we recognize is we have the clips here. There are the audio files. Sound rolling. Camera. Seems okay. Then we have the close-up. Oh yeah, nice start, Nico. You see it, but you can't hear it. It's just picture. Okay. And then you have this one. The lovely sound of Timecode on the audio track. Okay. How to bring this mess together now? Well, luckily, Nico was so kind to hit a slate for us, okay? It's no problem at all. Okay, here we go, okay. So it's no problem at all. It's super easy to do that, okay? We're going like here, and then we say, okay, something like that, okay? Okay, so we're here. And then we go into the other one, okay. Where was it? Something like that. All right, and so on. You can imagine, right? And this is for everything a single shot. So this takes a lot of time. I mean, it works. However, it can be better. So let's delete this from the timeline again. Now, first thing we recognize is that the timecode here is different. The audio timecode and the timecode from the Canon camera looks similar. Yeah? This is also the timecode that we were seeing here on the slate running, for example. So we see, okay, this was the original timecode. But the DSLR camera, of course, it ran on its internal clock. It ran on its internal clock, and we just ingested the timecode on the audio track. So first thing we have to do now is to mark those files. And there is an option that is called Update Timecode from Audio Track. So what happens if I click that is you will see the timecode information change. I will update this, and now you see, okay. It reads this LTC audio on audio track and transforms it, transcodes it into real metadata that we can use. So that's how it works. Different than any editing tool, of course, but this is how this works. So now what you have to do, because still here's no audio and stuff like that, you can now mark all those clips and say auto-sync audio. Based on timecode? Of course based on timecode. Okay, and now, again, Nico, how do you feel like being here today in Helsinki with us?
I feel very well. It's beautiful weather outside, and yeah, I like it very much here.
You're so authentic, Nico. It's cool.
Thank you very much.
So you see, a good thing happened already. The audio is synced. With just clicking this a few clicks. No searching in the timeline. We just did it via timecode. And there's more. I mean, you can also, if you want to do, like, if you imagine this being a longer interview, for example, you could now mark those clips and say create a new multicam clip using that. Of course, again, timecode must be selected as a reference. It's not no automatic selection. You have to do it manually and always select timecode then. And then you can create this multi-clip thing. Is it that? Yeah. So I will drag it here as well again. And then you see both Nico's.
Can you do a clap?
And he's super in sync, isn't he?
Thank you, man.
Okay, again, Nico, how do you feel like being here today in Helsinki with us?
I feel very well. It's beautiful weather outside.
Isn't this great? So really, just a few clicks and you're ready to go. You can like do a multi-clip camera editing, stuff like that, and the editors will love it. And all happened because we prepared everything well on the set. Okay, you can applaud. Thank you. Okay.